Lyra crouched in the cold corner of the dark room. Her hands shook and her eyes stared at the small metal bowl on the floor. It was not a bowl for humans. It was a pet bowl. She knew why it was there. It was to remind her she was nothing more than a beast to the aliens who ruled this place. The room smelled of dust and metal. The walls were rough and gray with no windows. The only light came from a weak lamp hanging on the ceiling. The lamp flickered now and then, as if it wanted to die. Lyra's stomach growled loudly. She was hungry, but she was too proud to eat from that bowl. Outside the room, she could hear the heavy footsteps of the alien guards. Their voices were strange and harsh. They spoke in a language she did not understand, but the meaning was clear. They were laughing and shouting orders. Lyra's heart pounded. She knew they would come soon to force her to eat. It was a daily ritual of shame, a punishment to keep the humans broken. She closed her eyes and remembered the stories her parents told her long ago. Stories of Earth, a blue planet far away where humans lived free and proud. They told her that humans could be brave, strong, and kind. But here, in this colony on a distant planet, all that seemed lost. The alien rulers called this place the Outpost. It was a small colony where humans were sent as slaves. The aliens treated humans like animals. They wore strange clothes. Their skin was blue or green and their eyes glowed in the dark. They were tall and strong with sharp claws and long teeth. Lyra remembered the day she arrived at the outpost. The ship had landed roughly. The humans were taken off like cargo and separated. Many cried, many fought, but none escaped. She had seen her friends fall sick and die. She had heard the screams in the night. Yet she held on to a small hope, a hope that one day someone would come to save them. Suddenly, the door to her room opened with a loud bang. 2 aliens entered. One was tall and thin, with green skin and yellow eyes. The other was shorter, with blue skin and sharp teeth. They carried a tray with food, cold, tasteless slop. "Eat," the tall alien said in a voice cold like ice. Lyra looked at the bowl in front of her. She felt a hot tear run down her cheek. She lowered her head and slowly got on her knees. She reached out her hand, trembling, and touched the food. She hated this moment, but she had no choice. Suddenly, a loud noise echoed outside. The aliens looked up, confused. The door burst open again. This time, it was not aliens. A tall human man stood there. His eyes were sharp, full of fire and kindness. He wore a strange uniform with a bright emblem on his chest. His name was Jonah. "Stop!" Jonah's voice was strong and clear. The aliens stepped back, startled. Jonah walked into the room without fear. He looked at Lyra and smiled softly. "You don't have to do this," he said gently. Lyra's eyes widened. She could not believe what she was seeing. A human, free and powerful here. In this place of pain, Jonah knelt beside her and took her hand in his. His touch was warm and real, not cold and cruel like the aliens. "I'm here to help you," Jonah said. For the first time in a long time, Lyra felt something new, hope. The aliens grunted and left the room. Jonah closed the door behind them. He looked around and saw the small room, the dirty floor, and the pet bowl. He shook his head. "This is not how humans should live," he said. Lyra stood up, still holding Jonah's hand. She looked into his eyes and saw a promise of freedom. Outside, the colony was dark and quiet. The aliens ruled with fear. But Jonah's arrival was a spark. Jonah had come with a secret plan to free the humans. He was not alone. Other humans were hidden nearby, waiting for the right moment to rise. Lyra's heart beat faster. She wanted to believe, but she also feared. The cost! What if the aliens found out? What if they punished everyone? Jonah seemed to read her mind. "It will be dangerous," he said. But we have to try. For all of us. He helped Lyra clean up and gave her fresh clothes. It was the first time she had felt clean and safe in months. Together, they stepped outside into the cold night. The stars shone above, bright and endless. Lyra looked up and whispered, "Maybe there is hope after all." Jonah smiled. "There is always hope for those who fight." The two humans walked side by side into the shadows of the colony, ready to face whatever came next. The sky above the colony was dark and still, broken only by the distant glow of stars. Deep inside the rocky hills of the planet, the humans lived like shadows, hidden, quiet, afraid. But tonight, something was different. Jonah stood outside, the small cluster of huts where the humans lived. His eyes scanned the horizon, alert and calm. He was not like the others. He carried the strength of earth in his steps and the fire of hope in his heart. Behind him, his team was busy. A few other humans had arrived with him. They wore simple clothes but moved with purpose and skill. They carried tools and supplies that the colony had never seen before. Jonah had a plan to change everything for the humans trapped here. But first, he needed to gain their trust. He moved closer to the largest hut. Inside, voices whispered, nervously. Lyra sat with the other humans, men, women, and even children. Their faces were tired and worn. Some stared at Jonah with hope, others with fear. Jonah stepped inside and raised his hands in peace. "I'm here to help," he said softly. A woman named Mara, who had become a quiet leader among the humans, looked up. "Why should we believe you?" she asked. "We have seen humans before, captured, broken. How do we know you are not like the others?" Jonah smiled gently. "Because I am not here to fight you. I'm here to fight for you, to help you stand up again." He told them about Earth, the planet they all came from. He told stories of blue skies, green forests, and wide oceans. The humans listened, their eyes growing bright for the first time. In many years, Lyra watched Jonah closely. His voice was strong but kind. She felt a warmth inside her chest that she had almost forgotten, hope. "Tomorrow," Jonah said, "we will begin to prepare. We cannot wait forever." The humans nodded, some uncertain, some eager. It was the first time in a long time they had heard a plan for freedom. As the night deepened, Jonah walked outside and looked up at the stars. His mind raced. The alien rulers were powerful and cruel. They would not give up their control easily. Jonah's second in command, a sharp-eyed woman named Tessa, joined him. "They are watching us," she said quietly. "The aliens have patrols near the camp. We must be careful." Jonah nodded. "We will train the humans, teach them to defend themselves, and to trust each other. We will be ready." The next morning, the colony woke to a strange, new sound. Jonah's voice calling out encouragement. He gathered the humans outside the huts. "You are not slaves," he said. "You are human. You have strength inside you. Together, we will find it again." At first, many were shy and unsure. They had been broken for so long, but Jonah was patient. He showed them simple exercises, how to stand tall, how to hold their hands strong, how to protect themselves without fear. Lyra joined in, feeling her body wake after months of despair. Her hands grew steady, her heart grew brave. Day by day, more humans joined the small group. They laughed quietly when Jonah made jokes. They shared stories of Earth and dreamed of a better life. But the aliens noticed the change. The patrols became more frequent and harsh. The alien guards watched the humans closely, suspicious of their sudden unity. One day, an alien captain came to the colony center. He was large and fierce, with red skin and glowing eyes. He shouted orders and threatened the humans. Jonah stepped forward. We want peace, he said firmly, but we will defend ourselves. The captain laughed cruelly. You are weak. You will obey. But Jonah's eyes burned with a fierce light. We are stronger than you think. The captain snarled and left, but his anger was clear. That night, Jonah and Lyra spoke quietly. The aliens fear us, Jonah said. That is good. Fear means power. Lyra smiled. I want to believe. But what if we fail? Jonah took her hand. We will not fail if we stand together. The colony was changing. The humans were waking up from their long nightmare. And Jonah was the light guiding them. But deep in the shadows, the alien rulers plotted their next move. The battle for freedom was only beginning. The sun rose slowly over the rocky hills, casting pale light on the small colony. For the humans living here, it was just another day. But under the surface, something was changing. Lyra woke with a strange feeling inside her chest. It was not fear. It was not sadness. It was a flicker of courage, growing stronger with every breath. She stood outside her hut and looked around. Other humans were gathering quietly, eyes full of hope and a new fire. Jonah had been teaching them all to believe in themselves again, to remember what it meant to be human. That morning, Jonah called everyone to the clearing near the center of the colony. The place was simple, a circle of stones and a few wooden benches, but to the humans, it was becoming a place of strength. Jonah stood tall and looked at the group. Today, we take a small step forward, he said. A step toward freedom. Lyra's heart beat fast. She knew what was coming, but part of her was still afraid. Some of you will refuse to do what the aliens say, Jonah continued. Some will stand up and say no. A murmur ran through the crowd. Many had never dared to do that before. Jonah smiled kindly. This will not be easy. The aliens will punish you, but you will not be alone. Lyra looked at the pet bowl in her hand, the one she had been forced to eat from just days before. Now she was ready to throw it down, to break the chains that bound her. As Jonah spoke, a small group of humans stepped forward. They refused to obey the aliens' cruel rules. They refused to eat from pet bowls. The aliens came quickly, angry and loud. They shouted orders and raised their weapons. But this time the humans did not run. They stood together. Lyra was among them, her eyes bright and her voice strong. We are not animals, she shouted. We are human. The aliens were surprised. They had never seen this before. The humans were not broken anymore. Jonah stepped forward, raising his hands in peace. We do not want to fight, he said, but we will protect ourselves. The aliens growled and backed away, confused by the humans' sudden courage. That day, something new was born, the first spark of rebellion. The humans shared food at a proper table for the first time in months. They laughed softly and talked quietly about the future. Lyra felt tears of joy in her eyes. She had never thought this day would come, but Jonah warned them, this is only the beginning. The aliens will try to stop us. We must be ready. Days passed, and the colony slowly changed. The humans trained with Jonah and his team. They learned how to defend themselves, how to work together, how to fight without losing hope. Lyra trained hard. She was quick and smart. She learned to use simple weapons and to move silently. The aliens grew angry. Their patrols became more violent. They punished humans who showed signs of rebellion. But the humans did not give up. One night, Lyra and Jonah met in secret. We must find more allies, Jonah said. There are other humans on this planet, some hiding, some captured. If we can unite them, we can be strong enough to fight. Lyra nodded. I will help. I want to fight for my people. Jonah smiled. Together we will. The spark of rebellion was now a small flame, and soon it would grow into a fire that could not be stopped. But the alien rulers were watching. They sent spies to learn about Jonah and the humans' plans. The battle for freedom was not only on the ground, it was also a fight of wits and courage. Lyra knew that she must be careful. Every step forward could bring danger. But she also knew that this was her chance to live as a free human. As the stars shone above, the humans gathered around a small fire. They sang old songs from Earth and dreamed of the day they would see. The blue sky again. Lyra looked at Jonah and whispered, "Thank you for lifting me up." Jonah smiled softly. "We lift each other up. That is what it means to be human." And so the colony waited, waiting for the day when their courage would break the chains forever. The cold wind swept through the rocky hills as dawn broke over the colony. The humans moved quietly, but with a new strength in their steps. They were no longer shadows hiding in fear. They were fighters ready to reclaim their dignity. Lyra stood at the edge of the clearing, her heart pounding with both fear and hope. Today was the day they would strike back against their alien oppressors. Jonah gathered the small group of rebels and spoke firmly. "This is not just about survival anymore. It's about taking back what is ours, our freedom, our honor." Lyra looked around. The faces of her friends showed the same determination. Some were young, some old, but all were ready to fight for a better future. The plan was simple, but risky. They would attack the alien guards during their change of shifts, catching them off guard. The humans had trained hard for weeks, learning to use weapons made from scavenged parts and to work as a team. As the sun rose higher, the aliens made their usual patrols. But this time, the humans were waiting. Lyra's hands gripped a crude spear. She moved silently through the shadows, following Jonah's signal. Suddenly, a shout broke the quiet. The aliens were surprised. The humans attacked with courage and speed. Lyra fought bravely. She remembered Jonah's words: "Stay calm, aim true, protect each other." The aliens were strong but unprepared. The humans' determination was fierce. They shouted their battle cries, words of freedom and hope. In the chaos, Lyra saw one of the younger humans fall. She rushed to help, pulling him to safety behind a rock. "We can't lose hope," she whispered. Jonah appeared beside her, his eyes shining with pride. "We are winning," he said. "Keep going." The battle raged on. The aliens called for reinforcements, but the humans held their ground. After what felt like hours, the last alien guard fled. The colony was free, at least for now. The humans cheered, but Jonah quickly reminded them, "This is only the first step. We must be ready for what comes next." Lyra looked around the clearing. The pet bowls were gone. The humans now ate from real plates, sitting together as equals. That night, the colony gathered around a large fire. Jonah spoke about building a new future, a future where humans would live with dignity and freedom. Lyra stood beside him, feeling stronger than ever. She knew the road ahead would be hard, but she believed in their cause. Suddenly, a messenger ran into the camp, breathless. "The aliens are sending a large force," he warned. "They will return soon." Jonah nodded. "Then we must prepare. We will fight for every inch of this land." Lyra looked at her friends and family. "We will stand together," she said. The humans spent the next days building defenses and training harder. They shared stories, laughter, and tears. Jonah and Lyra worked side by side, planning and leading. Their bond grew stronger, built on trust and hope. One evening, Jonah asked Lyra to sit with him under the stars. "We have come far," he said quietly. "But this fight is bigger than us." Lyra smiled softly. "I am ready." Jonah took her hand. "Together we will lift humanity back to its rightful place." As the stars shone above, the colony waited, stronger, braver, united. The battle for freedom was far from over, but the chains were breaking, and humanity's spirit was rising. The nights grew colder, and the sky was filled with strange stars. The humans of the colony worked harder than ever. Their small victory had given them hope, but it also brought new dangers. The alien rulers would not forget so easily. Lyra stood at the edge of the camp, looking out into the dark hills. She could hear the distant rumble of alien ships approaching. The enemy was coming back with more soldiers and stronger weapons. Jonah joined her, his face calm but serious. "They want to break us," he said, "but we will not let them." Lyra nodded. "We have come too far to give up now." The humans prepared their defenses. They built walls from stones and metal scraps. They set traps and dug trenches. Everyone had a job. Even the children helped in small ways, carrying messages or gathering food. Jonah moved among the people, encouraging them. "Remember why we fight," he said, "for our families, for our future." But the coming battle was not easy. The aliens attacked with fire and fury. The ground shook as their machines rolled forward. The humans fought bravely, using everything they had learned. Lyra ran through the chaos, helping the wounded and fighting when she had to. She saw friends fall, and her heart ached. One of the youngest fighters, a boy named Taro, was hurt badly. Lyra carried him to safety, tears in her eyes. "We must hold the line," Jonah shouted, rallying the fighters. The battle lasted for hours. The humans used their traps and teamwork to slow the aliens. They fought with hope and courage. But the cost was high. Many were hurt or lost. The camp was damaged. The humans were tired, but not defeated. After the fight, Jonah gathered the survivors. "We have won this battle," he said, "but the war is not over." Lyra looked at the faces around her, brave, strong, and determined. She felt proud to be among them. That night, around the fire, Jonah spoke softly. "Freedom is never free. We pay a price." Lyra reached out and took Jonah's hand. "We will pay it," she said. "Together." Days passed, and the humans healed their wounds and rebuilt their homes. The bond between them grew stronger. Jonah and Lyra worked closely, sharing plans and dreams. They talked about a future where humans could live without fear. One evening, as the stars twinkled above, Jonah said, "You have changed everything, Lyra. You have shown us what it means to be strong." Lyra smiled shyly. "I only followed your lead." Jonah shook his head. "No, you were the spark." The colony was no longer a place of shame and fear. It was a place of hope and courage. But they knew the fight was far from over. The aliens would return again, and the humans must be ready. Lyra looked at the sky and whispered, "We will be ready." Jonah squeezed her hand gently. "We are ready." And so, the humans waited, stronger and united, ready to face whatever came next. The first light of dawn painted the sky in soft orange and pink. The colony was quiet, but alive. The humans moved with a new sense of purpose. They were no longer slaves. They were free. Lyra stood on a small hill overlooking the camp. The wind played with her hair as she looked at the people below. Children laughed, adults talked and worked, and the air was filled with hope. It had been a long journey from the dark days when she had to eat from a pet bowl. But now, everything was changing. Jonah joined her, his face tired but smiling. "We did it," he said softly. Lyra turned to him. "Yes, we did." The alien forces had been pushed away, their ships retreating beyond the hills. The humans had fought hard and won. Their courage and unity had broken the chains of slavery. Now, the work of building a new life began. Jonah gathered the people in the center of the colony. "Today, we start a new chapter," he said. "One of freedom, respect, and hope." The Scifi humans cheered, their voices rising like the morning sun. Lyra felt a tear roll down her cheek, not of sadness, but of joy. She thought about the years of pain and fear and how far they had come. She walked through the colony, greeting friends and neighbors. Children ran to her, calling her a hero. She smiled and knelt to talk with them. "We are free now," she said. "And we will stay free." The humans worked together to rebuild their homes and fields. They planted seeds and repaired machines left behind by the aliens. Jonah worked alongside them, but he also reminded everyone to remember their past. "We must never forget what we have been through," he said. "But we must also look forward." Lyra agreed. The memory of those dark days gave her strength, but she would not live in fear anymore. One evening, as the stars filled the sky, Jonah and Lyra stood together. "We have lifted ourselves up," Jonah said. "But there is still much to do." Lyra nodded. "We will build a future where no one is forced to eat from a pet bowl." Jonah smiled. "A future where humanity shines." The colony had become a beacon of hope, not just for the humans here, but for all who dreamed of freedom. Lyra looked up at the stars and whispered, "Thank you for taking my hand." Jonah squeezed her hand gently. "We lift each other up. That is the strength of humanity." And as the night grew deep, the humans rested, free at last, ready to face tomorrow with courage and hope.